Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the second session of Current Edge. So, in the last class, what we have done? Mainly, we took the topics from January, February 2023, and you have been got the first workbook last class, and we have had the detailed discussion. 25 tests also you have written. Good. Now, tell me what you have done with this workbook in this 1 week. Keywords mentioned. We learned about Bakhtiyar Khilji dynasties, all this. Okay. You've done some research work and added it into your workbooks. In the right hand section, you have added some data, some information related to it. Okay. So why we are asking this, why we are keeping so much focus on what you have done with this workbook is the whole philosophy of having these classes, having this test, having these workbooks. There is only one thing, you have to engage with whatever the material I am giving. This is not even a complete material. You cannot take this as a this will clear you prelims. This objective of even developing this material is not to build a comprehensive material, but to give something into your mind to think about. It is your responsibility to go home, work on it, at least in the next 2 months, that is in November as well as December. Only expectation is attend the class for 2 hours, give a half-hour test, then give at least 2-hour revision per week to this workbook. So in total you get less than 5 hours you have to spend on this material. Now 25 topics, you might be feeling that it is too less, like you can do it easily. But if you do this continuously for next 2 months, it will accumulate and we will have a good collection, good head start before we completely shift into the prelims mode in January. So that is the whole objective of this program. So how was today's test? Give me a fair opinion. (22 question you have solved. Good. So any difficulties? Where you categorize the test? Like, is it on difficult end or is it doable? Doable. Okay. So 4th November we have second workbook. You might have already got it. If you have digital copy, add it on digital copy. No need to keep the physical one. Digital mail, like if any new developments come, you can add a page. You can delete whatever you have written. You can write again. All this editing, note making process becomes quite easy. Now we will go to, like, next week we will have 1 month for one workbook, from starting from May 2023. Then every Saturday we will have one workbook each. So that is our schedule for upcoming days. Next Saturday we will not be having class due to Diwali and other breaks. Next class will be on 18th of November. Okay. So going ahead, let's go to today's discussion. So answer this question very fast, then we will start the discussion. Let's read the question. Recently, India's first water body census, a comprehensive database of ponds, tanks, lakes and reservoirs in the country, has been released. So this is the context why we are concerned about reading this in current affairs. This has been released recently. Any other information you are getting from this? It is a India's water body census, ponds, tanks, lakes and reservoirs. That means it can be man-made, it can be natural. All these different kinds of natural water bodies are coming into picture. In this context, consider the following statements. The report has been released by Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change. Is it right or wrong? Why? It is about water bodies. Water bodies, forest, this can be under this ministry also. It's very difficult to summarily reject it. Somewhere it is related. What can be other ministry who can conduct this? Ministry of Jal Shakti can be another possible. Possible ministry which can do a similar survey. Second statement, ponds constitute majority of water bodies in India, followed by tanks and reservoirs. Ponds constitute majority of water bodies in India, followed by tanks, reservoirs. So what inference you can make from this? What is difference between ponds, lakes? Major difference? Ponds are smaller. Ponds can be built at any locality, while lakes are considerably bigger water bodies. And many of the lakes are natural lakes also. So when you speak about the numbers, whose number will be greater? Ponds, whatever smaller, whatever it is man-made, that numbers will be considerably greater. Whether it is pond, whether it is tank, whether it is other kind of reservoirs, that is all man-made. Why we are making these? To conserve water for mostly for irrigation purposes. So many part of the country we have concentrated rainfall in 2-3 months, then we have extended dry period. So these are like water reservoirs prominent in almost every part of the country. So a very high chance this can be a right option. If lake is given here, then I would have been very much confused. Because lake is a natural water body, it's a considerable bigger water body. If you take the number, it is very difficult to identify having greater number of natural water bodies or bigger water bodies. Maharashtra leads all other states in terms of number of water conservation schemes. Is it right? Very difficult to answer if you don't know the answer. Very fact-based option. Maharashtra can be, Maharashtra cannot be. Like it's very difficult to get any concept, apply any concept into this. Fourth statement, Uttar Pradesh has the highest number of ponds in the country. Can it be true? What all matters in deciding number of ponds or lakes? One thing is the state is having high number of irrigation. UP is a agricultural state, it can have irrigation. So in that regard it is okay. Second, what matters? Geography of the land. What kind of system you will have in UP mostly? Well, like for irrigation, what kind of system of irrigation can be more feasible in UP? Reservoirs is feasible. More than that, we have perennial rivers running through UP, Ganga and tributaries of Ganga. So one of the most feasible option is canals, canal irrigation system. In UP as well as in Rajasthan, all these perennial rivers, you already have the water flowing. Just take the water through a canal to wherever you want to irrigation. So canal system is more prominent in UP considering the geography of the state. So you can get that pond where similarly you might have heard about pond renovation scheme of which government is famous? Andhra Pradesh. In Hyderabad, urban ponds has been renovated by the Andhra Pradesh government. You might have heard about similar schemes. Ponds, tanks, these two things are most prominent in Deccan Plateau region. Why? There are two reasons for this. One, to climatic condition. What is climatic condition? Non-perennial rivers, and this rainfall is concentrated in few months. Monsoon month, after that you don't have much rain. Second reason is the geography, the geology of the land. You have hard rocks in the Deccan Plateau. So if you make a physical structure of a pond, then you can save water in it naturally itself. So due to these two reasons, ponds you will more associate with some state of Deccan region का कोई state. So this have high chance of getting wrong. This have high chance of getting right. First and third option, these are mostly factual option. If you know it, you know it. Correct answer here is A. 2 and 3 is the correct answer. So these are some of the information you might have seen in your workbook also. So what it is given? India's first water body census. Comprehensive database of ponds, lakes, reservoirs in the country. Census was actually conducted 5 years back. The data was released recently in 2023. 2.4 million water bodies across the country has been taken into consideration. Which ministry is undertaking this? Ministry of Jal Shakti, not Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, Forest and Climate Change. What is the definition of a water body? Natural or man-made. Both water bodies are taken into consideration. Bounded by all sides with no masonry work used for storing water. And other like ice melt, streams, springs, drainage of water, all these are also considered as part of water bodies. So stagnant water as well as flowing water, both these are considered as a part of water bodies. Both this analysis has been conducted. Now one of the stark information that you get is 97% of these water bodies are located in rural areas. We have very limited number of urban water bodies. Only 3% of the, or 2.9 exact percent of the country's water bodies are coming from urban areas only. Why we are learning this fact? Only to have a broad picture. If you got a extreme statement, you should at least identify this is an extreme statement. Similarly, different types of water bodies, what we have highest? Highest we have ponds, around 59.5%. That is followed by tanks of 15%. Then we have reservoirs of 12%. Water conservation scheme like small dams kind of projects of 9.3%. And we have lakes as the smallest number of water bodies is 0.9%. Why lake is small, we already discussed. Because it is mostly natural water bodies and it is huge water bodies. Even though numbers are small, the amount of water they occupy may be considerably huge. Leading state for water conservation scheme is Maharashtra. That means Maharashtra has most of its water bodies under some kind of protection given under some kind of scheme. Highest number of water bodies are from, highest number of ponds and reservoirs as well as water bodies are from West Bengal. Similarly, highest number of tanks is from Andhra Pradesh and highest number of lakes is from Tamil Nadu. These are some of the other data related to it. West Bengal has most water bodies. As you can see, it is the darkest state in this. After that, you have UP, you have some of the northeastern state also. Ownership of water bodies, 99% of water bodies in Tripura is privately owned. While in other cases, most of the water bodies are publicly owned water bodies. First, you can go through the information. You can see the concentration of different kinds of water bodies. The green dot represents the water bodies under some kind of conservation schemes. You can see the high concentration of green dots in Maharashtra, associated with Maharashtra. A high number of ponds is there in West Bengal. Go through second question, then we will discuss the second question. Too much of details is not required to learn from this India's water body census. What you have to learn is the broad data, broad trend, broad analysis. Have one few maps that is presented in the report. Learn that and finish the matter. See, best thing you can do is don't go to the original report. You search the report, you will get information from PIB. Only study that much what is given in the PIB. Or even you can go to the down to earth. There is an article on India's first water census. That article also, it also having very good information. So these, limit yourself to these two sources. No need to go and go through the original document. Yeah, answer the second question. Mission. Read the question. Which of the following best describes the objective of Mission Sabhagita, launched by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change? So two things are given here. One is the name of the scheme. So what you have to think when your name of the scheme is given? What is the meaning of this word? Sabhagita, mostly it is a Hindi word, right? What is the meaning? Okay. Sabhagita mostly related to cooperation, congregation, you can say something like this. Something like people are coming together, something like associated with people empowerment or people led development, you can connect with that. Now it is given by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. That ministry is launching the scheme. So people led development and environment you have given in the question. These two information has been provided in the question. What is asked is describe the objective, best describe the objective of the scheme. To promote renewable energy and reduce dependence on fossil fuels. How you analyze this option? No, I'm speaking about first option. How not inclined? We have renewable energy, promote renewable energy and reduce dependence on fossil fuels. So which ministry can take it, this kind of work? We have specialized ministry for renewable energy, MNRE. Even if fossil fuel ministry is coming forward, we have petroleum ministry for that. So if Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, this ministry's focus is conservation of forest, mitigating climate change. These are the area of focus of environment, forest and climate change. So somewhere there is a divergence, even though it looks similar, there is a divergence in the first option. So you can kind of eliminate this. To encourage public participation, this somewhere relate with the meaning of the word Sabhagita in the protection and conservation of forest habits. Again, you can even connect with the ministry also. Very probable option. Let's read the third option. To effectively manage and share experiences related to network of 75 significant wetlands nationally and internationally. So what is your opinion on this? Now it is speaking about wetlands. Wetlands also directly come under environment, forest and climate change. Montrix record is last option. To promote ecotourism in national parks and wildlife sanctuaries across the country. Again, this is not too much related to the word or too much under the ambit of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. At least you must reach a position that first and fourth option has less probability of being the correct answer. B or C has very high chance. Either you should go by 50-50 chance, you have to take the risk, or you can go by, if you have the knowledge, you can go with this. Correct answer here is C. Actually, it is for sharing the information related to conservation of 75 wetlands, best practices, what people are doing, all this information sharing. That is the objective, key objective of Mission Sabhagita. Very confusing second option is there. So only if you have a basic knowledge about the scheme, then only you can eliminate it. Otherwise also these four options are kind of a tricky options, very synonymous kind of options. So this scheme is launched by Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change. One of the most interesting aspect of this scheme is society ownership approach. What does it mean? Where you have heard something similar to this? Conservation of reservoirs, where we use this society ownership approach. Forest Rights Act. Forest Rights Act, which year? 2006. What is the objective? What this act does? It recognizes rights of forest dwellers on forest and whatever their livelihood, all these kind of rights has been recognized by this Forest Rights Act 2006. So there we have the concept of community ownership of land. Either the land can be given to person if he proves that at least for 3 generations he has been staying there. 3 generations or 75 years. Now this has become point of controversy. Point of controversy means most of the tribals don't have document to prove that for 3 generations they have been staying there for 75 years. Now what is the implication of this? Even they don't have enough documents. So most of the states are, even though we had this act came up in 2006, the implementation has been lacking. Even states who are good in governance have been very poor in implementing this act. So people, despite having all the like in a position to get the benefit of the scheme, is not getting the benefit of the scheme. Now what next happened? When the people were rejected, their applications were rejected. Many states were not even giving explanation why their applications were rejected. Now these people gone to Supreme Court. The case went to Supreme Court whether it should be given or not given. Now what the Supreme Court judgment in 2022, what the judgment was? About 2.41 lakh people without property rights, without recognition of their rights under this act are living in forest. These people has to be relocated or at least taken out away from this protected forest region. Now it is not a small number, it is 2.41 lakh people, and mostly these are tribal people, and relocating this much number of people, that can have its own complications. So this is where we have an exposure to society ownership approach. Now what this scheme is trying to do is, this is based on response by Minister of Jal Shakti in Lok Sabha. What it has been, it is not being, rules is not being notified and it is yet to be implemented. But the objective of the scheme is to bring, similar to Forest Rights Act, an approach of society ownership approach to conservation of wetlands also. So doing some kind of activity, sustainable practices in wetlands, doing some kind of tribal cultural practices in wetlands, all these rights can be extended to the stakeholders associated with these wetlands. Other things are very trivial options, you can read it from your book. Conservation of wetlands is objective, participatory approach is the objective, platform for collaboration, sharing of information, sharing of best practices, all these are different approaches of different objectives of Mission Sabhakita. Now we have how many Ramsar sites in India? Right now we have 75, right? It is again being increased. During the 75th Independence Day, we had this number reach 75. So it is not, Tamil Nadu has maximum, okay. Idea is it's not feasible to learn everything each and every wetland where it is, but at least keep this map in your note or in your workbook. Go through this regularly. At least the major wetlands from major states you should be able to know. Which are some of the examples? Wular Lake, where it is? We had a 2023 question also from Wular Lake, connecting Jhelum River and Jammu Kashmir. Chilika, Odisha. Loktak, Manipur. Sambar Lake, Rajasthan. At least major lakes of the states you should be able to connect with. If a question comes on this, we have so many questions in previous PYQs. If you look, there have been questions from lakes and water bodies. So don't neglect this. Now we have Ramsar Convention and Montreux Accord. What is the difference between these two? In Ramsar Convention, this is an international treaty for upholding conservation of water bodies. Around 170 parties are there. 1971 in Ramsar. Which country is Ramsar? Iran. So 1971 has been objective is to conserve those remaining water bodies, water management and all. Designation through international importance, cooperation on transboundary. There are 9 criteria provided by this Ramsar. If any of these criteria is met by any of the water bodies within a country, it can declare itself into a Ramsar Ramsar wetland. Now we have almost 75 wetlands associated with Ramsar. Nothing too much to pinpoint. When it comes to Montreux Accord, what it is, what you have to keep in mind is, it started late in 1990. Only few of these wetlands from here is taken into Montreux Accord. Those wetlands are, which wetlands? Where if changes in ecological character have occurred or occurring or are likely to occur as a result of technological development, pollution or human interfaces. So due to any of our interference, the ecological character of this wetland has been changing, then those wetlands are added into Montreux Accord. So if some wetland is coming under Montreux Accord, what it indicates? This wetland is under endanger or some kind of threat. So tell me which lakes from India are in Montreux Accord? Chilika Lake was earlier there, now it has been removed. Loktak Lake is there. Which else? Koiladio National Park. Where it is? Rajasthan. So these two national parks are still in the Montreux Accord. What it indicates? It has still some kind of ecology, is facing some kind of ecological threat due to human interventions. Going ahead, society ownership of rights, where we have seen this in Forest Rights Act. So these points we have more or less discussed. Community access has been provided in this Forest Rights Act. Under which forest this Forest Rights Act is applicable? Like we have different kind of forest, like wildlife sanctuaries there. Then we have what else? Tiger reserves is there, national parks is there. We have core areas of national parks. So under which categories of forest it is applicable? Reserve forest is there, community forest is there. Technically what is given